So I'm going to kick today off really with a framing for our two speakers who I will introduce shortly. So my name is Jax Wechsler. I consult a Sticky Design Studio and I founded Social Design Sydney in 2013. I'm deeply committed to making change. I'm a design practitioner and rely predominantly on human-centred design methods, and I also am very interested in systems practice at the moment. I've been working in this space for over 10 years. So what do we mean by human-centred design? So human-centred design, the central premise of human-centred design is that the best designed products and services result from understanding the needs of the people who will use them. Today, I'm going to frame the conversation by talking briefly about design, social change, and complexity. We need change. We live in turbulent times. These are the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. There's a lot of areas that we could do with change in the world. Being a designer and being passionate about social change, this is a question that I've been asking myself for quite some time, and it's also the impetus for who we decided for this event and who we were going to invite and the focus for this event. How might design support social change? Spot the designer. Who in the audience would identify as a designer? Could you please raise your hand? Okay. And who would identify as somebody who works with change? Okay. So Herbert Simon is an American political scientist and economist, and he says that everyone designs who devises courses of action aimed at changing existing situations into preferred ones. Well, if Simon is right, then many of us who are not designers design. And if he is right, what role does professional design practice play? And what role do professional designers play? That's another question that I've been asking myself for a while. So before I go any further, I would like to just explain what I mean by the word design. So design is generative. It's focused on the generation of new possibilities. It can facilitate empathy and shared understanding. It relies on visualisation as well as design research with people. So in this way, it can help facilitate empathy and shared understanding. This is an image of a map that I was involved in the production of when I worked for Family and Community Services, looking at the experience of children in the child protection system. Now, this map was utilised within workshops and in the development of there were online services that were being developed as part of this program, and this map helped to create understanding around what is the experience of young people so that they could design better products and IT services to support that ecosystem. So, has anyone heard of the word affordance? Yeah, so design affords behaviour. The way that a door handle is designed affects whether you pull it, you push it, or how you interact with it, whether you just stand there because it's an electronic door. So design affords how we behave in the world. And in this way, design affects change. So the way things, services, and systems are designed can create change that is both intentional as well as unintentional. So the practice of design is changing. We've got traditional design practice, which would be things like architecture, graphic design, interior design, product design, and technology design. But more recently, we have contemporary design practice, which is more interested in designing of the non-tangible. So professions like experience design, service design, transformation design, social design, transition design. These design practices are focused on people and society's needs rather than just merely products, not merely, but just products and technology. This is an infographic by a design theorist called Richard Buchanan, and he postulates that there are 4 orders of design. So we have graphic design, which involves designing signs, symbols, and print. Industrial design, which is more focused on the design of products. Interaction design, where we design services, experiences, interfaces, and information. And this would be the contemporary design practice of things like user experience design and service design. It usually plays in this interaction space. And human-centred design as well is very popular and very much used in this interaction space. And then we have systems design, which is business, organisation, education and government. And design is starting to play more of a role in systems design, but it's not so comfortable there yet, where we're still needing to learn a little bit and modify our practices, I feel, to be more effective in that systemic space. But that's a space that social change sits within. So if we as designers, or me personally as a designer, want to be involved in social change, it's the systems level that needs to be the place that I play. Because the thing about social change, it needs to operate on the level of systems change. Because social problems are both wicked and complex. Has anyone heard of the term wicked problem? It's used a lot when discussing social problems. Here's a definition. Wicked problems, defined by Richel as a class of social system problems which are ill-formulated, where the information is confusing, where there are many clients and decision makers with conflicting values, and where the ramifications of the whole system are thoroughly confusing. Does that sound like any spaces that you are familiar with? So, wicked problems emerge from complex systems. So what do I mean by complex systems? Here are just a few of the characteristics. So in complex systems, there is a high level of interdependence and interconnectivity. Complex systems are dynamic. And they are also unpredictable. And the thing about change is a process, not an event. It takes time. And it can take a long time when we're talking about social change. It can require interventions that happen on short-term horizons, medium-term horizons, and long-term horizons. So we need to think strategically in order to make the sort of change that's going to last. And the thing about change is social change as well. It relies on lots of different people to work together to make the change happen over time. So I'm going to leave you with two kind of thoughts which will help frame the other speakers today. The first one is, you may have seen this before, but it's quite nice. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So to enact social change, we need to be working on a systems level, and we need to work together to do this. No single individual or discipline can shift a system. To create the sort of change we need in the world, working together is a non-negotiable. And my question to you is, how can design help this? Okay. Also, I just wanted to add in here, let's talk about this more afterwards at the Orient Hotel. I'm going to introduce our speakers. So we've got Kerry Graham, who's going to talk first. I'm a real fan of Kerry's work. Kerry's going to be talking about some of her practice. Marthan Ratanam, he's a lead design specialist at the World Bank. Marthan is going to talk about some projects that he's run in Malawi. So here we've got two practitioners who are going to be sharing their practice. I've tried to frame the conversation with some things to think about. So my question to you, and something I'd like you to think about, and we'll talk more in the panel, is how can design affect change? So some of the things that we saw, designers design things that help people do things so they can affect behaviour. And design is also a lot about visualisation. So how can design support participation, people working together? How can design support collaboration? Okay, so I just wanted to frame that, so I'll just introduce Kerry now.